an artist, a warrior, the enlightened one, whatever you want to call him. But you cannot deny Kyrie Irving's greatness. And this shoe just adds to that resume. Let's talk about them. So here we have the Anta KAI one box. Just look at this, man. You got the tribal, kind of like embossed thing surrounding this. You got obviously the Kai logo, which I really do like, man. Kai, 2Ks, and both the number 11 here in the center. I think it's a really cool way to implement that. And then as well, he's also kind of implementing some hieroglyphic stuff here in his new brand. You got these 4 symbols, which they all translate to strength, agility, focus, and speed. A really nice box. You got over here something that says mastering your craft is a journey. That's been kind of like the whole motto behind Anta. And then you got obviously the Anta logo here, which is kind of very simplistic, very Nike vibes. Not trying to take away from their logo, but it's kind of like to the point, and it goes straight to it's an easy thing to memorize, and I think that's the markings of a good logo. And then underneath, the same thing basically. Anta logo, Kai logo, and the 4 hieroglyphs down here. Say that we also have on the bottom here on the other side, we have the Anta logo, got the shoe information. This this is obviously Chinese writing, Chinese lettering. Now the official colorway for this one is color gray and white. I got these at the Mavs Sneak Easy experience event that they put on last week from today's recording, actually a week from today, April 17th. I'm recording this in April 17th. And Sneaker Politics had a really cool booth there where they actually let you pre-order the shoes, and you got first dibs on this highly sought after shoe. I saw that a lot of people didn't get the ability to buy this shoe, which I do feel that, because I did try and go for the first colorway, but I'm so happy I was able to get this new colorway. And if I'm not mistaken, the actual wording on this one, like the actual colorway on this one, is called Enlightened Warrior, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, let's go straight into the other part of the box. This is a very cool touch. Here is a message from Kyrie himself. He says, "I consider my product to be art. They are timeless pieces like furniture, artistic, cross-generational, handcrafted with meaning, substance, and devotion." Kyrie Irving. I think that's a really cool touch, a really cool message from the athlete. And yeah, I appreciate that they actually, put that there and makes this product, this shoe way more special than initially. And then boom, the Anta KAI ones in the Enlightened Warrior colorway. Such a cool shoe, man. Such a cool design. I like the silhouette. It's very reminiscent of Kyrie. I'm trying not to compare it to obviously the Kyries that Nike designed, but you can see some definitely callbacks to that, especially with the heel tab in the back, and kind of like that in between a low top and a mid top as far as the height goes. But first thoughts, this is such a cool shoe, man. This is such a clean shoe, and I cannot wait to use these on the court. Let me take out the other ones, and then I'm going to go more into the details of this shoe. But here you have the Enlightened Warrior KAI ones. Now, right off the bat, yes, they are different colors. Each pair of the shoe is a different color, overall color. The right one has more of purple in them, and the left shoe has more of the orange kind of pink vibe to it. Here on the Anta logo, which is on the side, I want to call this I believe this is a TPU, kind of like a shield guard. I want to say, like, it holds your foot in place. This one is pink, and the one on the other side on the right shoe is green, kind of yellow, highlight yellow. Really cool. I like that they're different, makes them really more interesting. But overall, if you look at them, like for the actual design here on the top and the toe box, kind of similar. One of them has more of a zebra type of print, and the other shoe has a more geometrical kind of type of design on them. You do also have some distinctive designs in the actual color edge to the toe box. They're very different in that sense. Yeah, one of them has more of a wavy sort of design, and the other one is more geometrical in a sense. Now the actual here, this is also TPU if I'm not mistaken. It looks more like plastic on this side, which has more of the elements that contain your foot in place. They both have this sort of shaded black into white colorway, but I want to say that besides those small distinctions, all the other elements of the shoes are pretty much the same. You got the strap here over the top of the shoe where the laces are. It's kind of like reminiscent of KDs have this sort of strap as well over the laces. It kind of replaces the need for that cabling system that you see in some Nike shoes, some performance Nike shoes that you usually see in between the laces, you know, to hold the laces in place and hold the top of your foot in place. I kind of like the strap. It makes it look a little more distinct, a little more different. I really like these. As far as anything else distinctive, I mean, not to be honest, I did see Foot Doctor Zach's cutting of the shoe, and it's very interesting to see just how little foam this shoe actually has. I know Kyrie is more of a shifty player. He's not necessarily, you know, jumping that much, except, you know, when he's doing his jumpers, his jump shots, but he mostly plays really low to the court. He's a dribbler, of course. He's a he knows how to handle more than anything, and of course, you know, he finishes with mostly layups. So it's very important for him to have a court feel. So it's really interesting that sort of a design philosophy still kind of, you can see it in this shoe with how little foam there actually is within the shoe. For the traction, I find really interesting the traction here, because it's this really distinct sort of rubber material. It's not smooth overall. It's, you know, I'm talking about the design, I'm talking about the actual feel to the rubber. It's a little bit more textured in between the grooves. I mean, on the actual grooves. It makes it look a little, not worn down, but it makes it look like it's rugged. Like, you can definitely hoop in these, I would say, in exterior courts, and they would probably hold up pretty well, just because of how rugged it is and how rugged it feels. And I think that's a really cool thing, you know, because if I'm looking at this as a Kyrie fan, I know he's a man of the people, right? I think he did this decision to make the rugged outsole for people who might not have access. I mean, that's probably a really big reach, but I still think that making this shoe more accessible to not just indoor courts and outdoor courts as well is definitely a big plus in this shoe. You got the Kyrie logo here in this sort of a psychedelic colorway. You know, I'll give you some closer looks up there. But yeah, besides that, you do have this foam, exposed foam here in the heel, right in the center of the heel, and that's pretty much it. I mean, the thickness of it is probably like 2 or 3 inches if I'm not mistaken. All the rest is pretty much just the actual rubber of the outsole. So the actual cushion is pretty minimal. I'll have to test these out on actual courts and see how they feel. But right off the bat, man, just by the looks of it, they just look amazing, man. There's so much stuff going on here that it's really hard for me to kind of focus on just one thing. What I do want to mention though is I just noticed that the hieroglyphs here in the strap actually spell out Irving. It's kind of pretty straightforward. This leaf is an I, this little symbol over here is an R. These V shapes pointing down is obviously a V. You got the other leaf with the I think that's a feather if I'm not mistaken. He's Kyrie Irving, of course, has Native American heritage and ancestry, so he's been tying a lot of that into a lot of his shoes, a lot of his outfits. So I think that's a really nice touch to that. And then you also his other symbol, which is an N, and then the final symbol, which kind of represents a G. I think that's a really cool touch. I think that's a really cool touch of him kind of like making up his own sort of symbols and basically his own alphabet in a sense. So I feel that's kind of cool. In the back, you got a bunch of things. You got the Anta logo, you got the Kyrie Irving logo, and you got those same hieroglyphs that we saw in the box those 4 different concepts, which I believe are, what was it again? Strength, agility, focus, and speed. I find that very interesting. I find that very cool. But yeah, man, this specific colorway is just very trippy. It's very, very tough to kind of focus on one single thing. I mean, as you can see, it's a very busy shoe. And the insoles, they're different as well. The right shoe has more of a wavy, sort of psychedelic green and black pattern. I'll do some close-ups of that as well. And the left shoe is just full on pink, and the Kyrie Irving logo in a really highlight yellow sort of green. Besides that, the foam in the center, you got this very cushiony foam support in the back of the Achilles heel, covered in the sock liner, which is sort of this neoprene sort of material. And another thing that I really like about this shoe is the tongue. The tongue is very soft and very cushioned. That's one of the biggest issues I've always had in some of these newer shoes, especially performance shoes. They even cheap out on the materials of the tongue, which is, you shouldn't do that, because that's where your foot is going to rub off 80% of the time. You know, it's always touching your foot. So I think overall, the upper, it's okay to cheap out on the materials a little bit. You know, it's just plastic. You need something that still has to be kind of durable. But where the tongue, the inside of the shoe is sometimes probably one of the most important parts for me when it comes to reviewing a shoe. But besides that, yeah, pretty simple, basic setup. I'm gonna put them on feet, see how they feel. But I do want to do a full-on court review alongside this review, so probably gonna catch me in a couple of days later. Man, overall, you know, after playing with this shoe like for an hour and a half, 2 hours almost, I can say this is probably one of my favorite hooping shoes from this year. It is a very lightweight shoe. It is made me feel very nimble. It's not by any means, you know, a shoe that'll hold you down. It's pretty much, from my understanding, pretty similar to, you know, some of the best Kyrie's out there when he was with Nike. This shoe made me feel very nimble, very free flowing. I was able to like still get that speed and that close to the ground feel with this shoe, but at the same time, I always felt supported with them. I have a similar shoe that made me feel very nimble, and that's the Zoom Freak 4s. I never felt support in that shoe. That shoe, I actually twisted my ankle twice in them. This one, the padding inside the actual shoe, in the sock liner here in the heel side, is reminiscent of shoes like the LeBron 20s, the LeBron 21s, something that I really do appreciate. I don't want to say that my ankles are sort of weak, but if I have a wide base like the Kai 1 has, sometimes I may stuck when I'm trying to make a quick transition or whatever, and this specific padding in the heel side and in the ankle area just made me feel way more secure. Another highlight of this shoe is the traction. Now, the traction isn't that, like, it's not as squeaky, it's not as perfect as some other shoes. This one doesn't have that great of a traction, but the thing about this one is, because of its porous nature, it's not a smooth sort of sole. It's textured, it's rugged. It makes it harder for dust to stick to the outsole, so it doesn't pick up a lot of dust. And like I said, you know, this being this rugged outsole is definitely going to perform well in both indoor and outdoor courts. I think this shoe might actually perform the best in outdoor courts, just because of the rugged feeling. I didn't get to test it in the outdoor courts at all, but overall, I think this is going to be one of the more dynamic shoes when it comes to hooping. It's lightweight, it has enough support in the ankle region, and still makes me feel very nimble, but there's still a lot of support in this. Breathability off the chart, is a very breathable shoe. I like the containment that is provided here by the strap on the top of the laces. And overall, man, just an amazing shoe. Like, this is my first Kyrie shoe I've ever bought. I never got a chance to try out the Kyrie shoes when he was with Nike, mainly because I wasn't playing as much basketball back in the day. But still, I think the Kai ones are probably up there with the AE ones, the Anthony Edward ones, the Jim Harden 8s. What else? What other shoes I'm really digging this year? I'm digging the LeBron 21s mostly because, you know, I'm a heavier guy. So, you know, those type of shoes really help with that support. But I think the Kai is one of the top 3 when it comes to hoop shoes this year, just because of how unique they are, how, you know, the technology behind them is amazing. Just overall, just an amazing shoe, and it's pretty cheap, $125. So if you're in the market for something similar to, you know, you're a point guard, let's say a shooting guard, someone who isn't on the heavier side or on the taller side, you need that, you know, close to the court feel. Definitely, I think the Kai one is the shoe for you. Kind of hard to get the Kai 1 currently, but I think they're going to be ramping up production soon because of the demand currently for this shoe. And I really do hope, man, because I think this is probably going to be top 3 shoe of the year when it comes to the performance side of it. But you let me know down in the comments below what you think of the Kai 1, specifically this colorway, the Enlightened Warrior. Do you like this shoe? Do you like the colorway? If you haven't gotten your chance to play in them, what are your thoughts behind this shoe? Folks, I've been True Fernie. This has been True Fernie. Please make sure to like and subscribe to my channel if you like this video. If you didn't like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs down, because believe it or not, every single bit helps. Links to my socials are down below. Please make sure to follow me on both IG, Threads, TikTok, where I upload more of this sort of like short form content, giving some more performance review stuff. Get ready with me, outfits, ideas, etc. And as well, follow me on Threads, as I already said, where I spend most of my waking hours talking about sports, gaming, sneakers, everything that might interest you as my viewer. But folks, please take care of each other, but most importantly, take care of yourself, and I guess enlighten yourself. I don't know how to end these videos anymore, bro. This is just a great shoe, just a beautiful shoe, just one of the best shoes in my collection. I ain't gonna lie. Peace.